In this screencast, I'll show you how to make your actor not be able to walk through walls. So in our last screencast, what we did was we made our actor hit his head on the wall, on the ceilings, and then come back. We want to do the exact same thing when our actor walks into platforms here. I made a wall of blocks or platforms right here, and right now there's nothing that's keeping my actor from walking through that. We're going to use the exact same kind of programming to make him stop here. So again, we'll go to our player class. And by now you should be noticing a pattern here that we use public booleans to check to see if we're hitting something or if we're close to it, and then we use a method or a void to make our actor stop there. So very quickly here, to do our check for walls, you have to do it for the right and the left. I'm going to leave this on the screen because we're essentially going to copy it and just change the y's and the x's around just a little bit. So to check for right walls, we're going to create a public boolean called check right walls, just like that. And instead of sprite height, what we're going to create is integer sprite width, and that's going to equal the get image dot get width right there, just like that. And you can see already that these are about the same. Instead of a y distance, we're going to get an x distance. So we're going to go int x distance, and we're going to make that equal, and we're going to put int in parentheses just in case your sprite has an odd number width, like 47. An integer is a whole number, and that int will make it round up to the nearest whole number. So we're going to put int, and then in parentheses we're going to put sprite width divided by 2. And so you can see right here it's about the same. So if you are looking at the actor ceiling part, you would realize that we are going to go actor right wall, and that's going to equal get one object at offset. And then now we want to check on the x-axis. So our x distance that we're looking for is going to be right here. We don't need to check in any y direction. Remember, y is up and down, so we're going to put a 0 there. And we are checking for the platform class. So we will add that there. Again, this is almost exactly the same. What we're going to do is we're going to say if right wall is null, and remember null means nothing, so if there's no right wall there, in this boolean we are going to return false. And then if there's anything else happening, which means we are hitting a right wall, we're going to run the method stop by right wall. And in there we are going to use the actor right wall. And because that boolean, this is a boolean, this will return true. So we close that up, and we have our method here. Close that up, and you will see that this is almost exactly the same as our on ground or check ceiling or check above methods. We're just using the x distance instead of the y distance. So when we write our stop by right wall method right here, it's going to be exactly the same as our bop head method or on ground method. So what we're going to write here is a public void called stop by right wall, and we are doing this with an actor called right wall. We put some curly braces in here, and to make this work we have to get the wall width because we're working in the x direction. Instead of the height, we're going to get the width. So we're going to go int wall width, and that equals right wall dot get the image and get the width. So that will get the width of our wall. Now here we have a new y, so the opposite of that, or not the opposite, but the same variable as that in the x direction would be a new x. So we're going to put integer new x, and that's going to equal wall.getX, and we're going to subtract the wall width, and we're going to subtract that when we add it to the get image dot get width. Remember that this get image get width is the width of our player. So we're going to do that, but we're going to divide that by 2. Now, just like this right here, we are going to set the location. So we're going to write set location. And this time we are changing the x value, so we're going to say new x. And I like to subtract 5 from it, just to keep my guy off the wall, so he doesn't look like he's ramming into the wall all the time. And we're going to put get y right here. And we're going to close that up. Now again, just like anything we've written before, this boolean and this method works together. So we need to go to check right walls and copy that and put that in our act method. And so up here, where we're checking if we're falling, checking the keys, and checking if there's a platform above us, we're going to check for right walls, add a semicolon there, and when I press compile, if I haven't made any typos, and I did, because this should be right wall instead of just wall, we compile that, and we'll check to make sure I didn't make any typos, and now I'm okay. And we'll go close this and compile our platformer here. And now our platformer is checking for walls on the right side of him, right here. And if we hit one, it's going to move us to the outside of that wall or that platformer. So if I run it, I'm going to check to make sure my jumping is still working, and it does. And now when I walk into the wall, I just kind of bounce off of it. And that's what that 5 gives you right there. So to do the right, we have the right setup. To do the left, you would actually copy those methods and that boolean and change it from right wall to left wall. And because left walls are on this side, you have to change some math. You have to make some positive numbers negative. And that's how we stop our character at the walls.